For me, I think you've got to look at what the opposite of inclusion is, and that's exclusion, and that's never a good thing. Where you've got communities, people, individuals who feel left out, and we need to make sure that they are in. And I know it's an obvious point, but if you see the detrimental effect exclusion has on our society of growing hatred and stereotypes, you know, it's not a place we want to be. So inclusion should never, should be what it is, but it should, I suppose I'm describing what it is through what it shouldn't be, in the sense that it shouldn't be a tick box. I see, oh, this is fashionable now to be inclusive, we should just include everyone. Oh, we just need some brown face and a Chinese person and, you know, a disabled person, and here you go. But the thoughts, I don't want it to be just a facade and a tick box, which I worry that's what it's becoming, that it's something like people, but it's fashionable to do. When you have true inclusivity, you have prosperity, you have richness, you have an enrichment of your community. And I think people don't realize that's what it brings, that it's not like, oh, we've got to reach our EDI, you know, this, and it becomes a chore. But if people see, you know, the cultures that we bring in our society, especially in the UK, we have unfortunately had issues around refugee communities coming in from all different parts of the world. And the best way you can see that coming about is through food. So one of our projects is in Manchester. A lot of the community groups are from various African nations and some from the Chinese community as well. And we make this effort to bring this melting pot together. And when you go there, the atmosphere is palpable. Everyone's like trying each other's food, and they're so excited. And they're so excited to be what? To be included. And one guy nearly even went into tears. He's like, I'm part of the Cameroonian society, and I've never been included in anything like this before. We've been trying, knocking at the door, feeling a bit lost. But the connector in Manchester, just, you know, her job is to connect people and then just leave. Because nothing, you know, when everyone's included, this positivity just comes about, and it's really fun and really exciting, really necessary. And I feel just worried that people don't see that beauty in just the tick box. So not completely, I don't know if that's the answer we were looking for, but, you know, that's what it means to me, to make sure we see the beauty of inclusion. And make sure it doesn't become just a fashion or a tick box.
Actually, when you were talking, it was making me think of something I wanted to do more of this year, which was also speaking with people, engaging with people who have very different opinions than me, maybe opposite opinions, because I felt I'm not doing this enough. I'm sort of maybe in my own silo. For me, inclusion is not also just about this beautiful idea of bringing people of different colors, abilities, regions, countries, but also including people who have different opinions, because I feel today's world that everything is so polarized.
Of course,
And I want to understand why someone might have racist opinions. Or I see people who, you know, stories of leadership where they've really met people where they were and had conversation, and then they brought change from within communities that were quite exclusive, you know, by just treating them also like humans. So that to me is a bit about inclusion, and I guess in terms of women, being a woman, I guess.
You're totally right in that sense. So our organisation actually came about through challenging hate. So and we came to the conclusion that you need inclusion to challenge hate. That's the direct.
Nice. I see.
So we're a counter-hate organisation, but using inclusion. And what we've seen now is the growing hatred around the misogyny issue. Like, hatred isn't just around racism. You have a lot of incidents of men hating women and then women hating men. So there's this kind of exclusion of the sexes as well as the races, and this is so dangerous.
Yes.
And what you said there is knowing the other points is what we encourage as well, like having empathy with the other sides, and
I think it's important.
is really necessary to ensure true inclusion is happening.
Well, of course, all the algorithms shoot us down a path of people who agree with us, because they want us to keep in that safe space. Although actually I have also had experience of completely the other side, and I think sometimes the algorithms like to mess things up just to cause contention and fire.
I wouldn't be surprised, yes.
I'm going to go back to your food thing. In Citizens of the World, we often share food together, and last night I had a Sri Lankan curry and an Algerian dessert. And I mean, what an amazing smorgasbord fusion of different food. And I never would have experienced these foods before choir. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful education for all of us. There's that saying, the world is a book, and if we stay in our own country, we read one page. I feel like I've got to read another 28 different pages of the book of the world.
That's amazing.
So, like, how much we can all learn and enjoy that, how much fun it can be.
I think we're lucky in the UK where you don't even have to almost step out of your country to go into another country. Like there's some places where you like Ethiopian food and various other diaspora food, you feel you're in that country. So my husband and I went to an Eritrean restaurant. We just kind of stumbled across it, and it was a really hot day in the UK, and we just felt we could have been in that part of the world.
That's
We're like, should we just pretend, or somewhere? We're like, yeah. And then the bar people at the bar were speaking in Eritrean, and we were just like, wow, this feels really cool. And we actually had this idea of like doing a food tour and like traveling the world, like which is the most transporting restaurant you can go to where you feel you're in that country.
Yeah,
and then making a list of
it. I guess inclusion is also, you talked about the gender bit, and I guess for me the only time in my life where I felt excluded was because I was a woman, and I could just feel I wasn't being listened to, or I could just feel a sense of domination, an attempt to dominate and quiet me because I was a woman. And I think as women, all three speaking at the table, there's that component that we almost like get used to, which is not good. And then maybe you get wise enough and older enough or to speak up and not let it happen. But
I feel like stubborn enough should be added in there. I
Stubborn
feel like stubborn about it sometimes. I'm like, I'm not going to let you speak to me like that just because you're a man and I'm a woman. No way. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe I would have done, and I was younger and naive.
Exactly.
And now that's back to courage again, isn't it? Having the courage to go, no, I'm not going to be spoken to like that. Speak to me as an equal, and I will speak to you as an equal. It's not that, it's this power dynamic. We have to keep calling it out, because there are really good men out there, and there are men who want to be talking and communicating with women on an equal, and we just have to keep encouraging those conversations to happen, don't we?
You can pick up when you are being discriminated against.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, and they're like, you're making it up. And you're like, I am not. Like, this is not in my head. I notice these small little body language things, or, you do notice that.
I think that's the bit of the female lived experience that you have from a very young age. That is hard to sometimes express. Even as women amongst each other, we don't even always fully talk about it together, because whether it's something a bit physical that feels wrong, or whether it's more vocal, or just a kind of disdain, or or something happening at work. And then it happens so often. I mean, we all have stories, multiple stories. So, and it's true, it's not normal. But it took me years to really speak up. It was always easier to speak up for other people. My mom always taught me, speak up. And I would speak up for other people. If I saw something wrong on the street, get into trouble. But when it came to speaking up for myself, I found that harder.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think sometimes, I feel this, why do you think speaking up for yourself is
I think we need to advocate for that.
Yeah.
So I have taught music to children for about 20 years, and 2 of my mantras are, without ego, be proud of your own accomplishments, and be your own best friend. Like, so you wouldn't say to your best friend, don't stand up for yourself. You say, stand up for yourself. And, you know, if a best friend was talking themselves down, you wouldn't say, keep talking yourself down. You'd say, you did a really good job there. Like, you know, talk about what you did. So we need to advocate for that for ourselves.
That's my exact one, be your own best friend. I
Nice.
think my daughter's like fed up of me saying it. But I tried it out one day and it really worked. I was really down in the dumps and I took myself out. I was like, let's try this, being my own best friend.
Yeah.
And I actually found myself eating oysters by myself. And someone said, are you eating oysters and sitting there on your own? And I was like, yes.
Nice.
I just thought
it sounds brilliant.
Like, oh, I want to go and eat this, and I want to go and do this, and I'm going to take myself to do these things. And it was so weird that someone noticed that I was by myself eating oysters. And
but like, why not? Why not? Doesn't make any difference if you do it with someone else or by yourself.
Yeah, I did feel weird, but when I was like, oh, there's a mirror there, I just like look into that and pretend.
But that's dismantling. That's dismantling the patriarchy. That's dismantling like the things that we've been born into that maybe we don't agree with. Because what is wrong with any of us doing something by ourselves? Yeah. Like, we should advocate
by myself,
that for other people.
But I think it's about doing something for by yourself and for yourself, rewarding yourself somehow. But I think the bit about not speaking up I know for me personally, it depends on the situation, but sometimes the bit is what happens after. Like, what happens after you speak up for yourself, and is someone going to backlash at you, whether it's physically even. You know, growing up in Paris, from a Latin country, you know, men grab, men touch, and my mom always taught me, speak up for yourself, but be careful too, because if you do speak up, sometimes men can actually I don't mean all men, but those specific men. So I think from a young age, it was ingrained that I had to be careful if I had to defend myself, but I also had to be aware that I might not always be the strongest in the room. Yeah. And then in terms of speaking, more like using your presence, I think I was always outspoken, but there was a component of maybe other women or other people also lifting me up in positions of leadership, where then I realized I had that ability to speak up for myself.
So you were encouraged. You were grateful for the people who encouraged you. I think
when people say that I speak up for others, but I don't speak up for myself, it is a really weird thing. Why is that?
I know what you mean. And have you ever been in a position where, a little bit off the topic conclusion, but on the subject matter, where you've managed to come across as quite confident, like you've been your own best friend, and now you're in this confident position, and then it comes back at you like, oh, you're being you're full of yourself, or you're overconfident. Like, you get criticised for being confident, or so I feel like that's what's happening. Like, oh, you're being like a man, or like you're being too.
Has it happened to you?
Yeah.
Has it?
Yeah, where like you're trying to be a man, and I'm like, no, I'm just trying to be me, and it's just why am I being criticised?
By men or by women?
By men. Yeah. Yeah, like,
wow.
It's just like, don't take this the wrong way, but like, you know, just having discussions, and it seems that when women want to act in a certain way and they are getting ahead, they get criticised for it in a way. And
women are bossy, but men are strong.
Yeah, like it's you're bossy, or you know, you're trying to be something that you're not, and the confidence may be threatening.
Yeah,
I think
I have experienced that.
Yeah, that it's threatening. But I'm like, well, the opposite again of not having confidence is of having no confidence. Having confidence is having no confidence, and I don't want to be there. Otherwise, I can't do what I do.
Yeah.
So,
call them out on it. Be confident. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. Be confident. Be strong.
Yeah.
And call them out on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
When I first joined, I realised that I'd met my people, and you know, in my everyday day-to-day life, I can't always explain what I do very easily to mums at school, and you know even family don't always know what it is that I'm doing. They saw me at number 10 yesterday, but they're like, yeah, what are you doing there? It's all fun. But yeah, when it's around meeting your people, and I met you guys today, and you are my people. We're trying to make the world a better place, and it's not everyone's cup of tea, but we're very passionate about it. We are dedicating our lives to doing these types of things, and when our motto, find, connect, amplify, could be used here as well, like connecting and amplifying what we do together and creating this positive energy through the RSA Fellows, and reaching out when we need, because they've been really helpful when we've been doing projects in Scotland, in Manchester, in London. We've had RSA representatives come and help our community groups as well, so there's a real it's not just a tick box thing. They've got people who are interested in the work that we're doing and trying to encourage our projects, and it's just a lovely building as well. I'm lucky enough to live in London as well, to come and sit here, sometimes have the coffee, and it's difficult sometimes to find spaces to work from. Everything's changed nowadays, and to have an opportunity to come and work from here has been fantastic. So I felt like, I know it sounds corny, but you've joined a massive family of people, and you can reach out. Well, I have reached out, and I have been responded to, and even different parts of the world as well. People have met with me from the RSA, so
amazing.
It's been, I've used the connections, and it's been very beneficial.
Wow. Do you want to go ahead?
I'm a newbie. I only joined last month, so how long have you been a member?
Just a year, just over a
Okay.
year.
And what about you?
Same as me.
Yeah.
About over a year. Yeah, I think it was November 2022. Somewhat time around that. Then, yeah.
So I've been blown away again by this location. It's just incredible. We're in central London, just off the Strand, and it's been here for so long, 270 years. I mean, just what an amazing place to bring people together, to be a hub, to be, that connecting place. So I'm really excited to get to know more people like you and taste this coffee that I love so much about.
Gosh, where do I begin about what I love about the fellowship, and what being a fellow has brought me? Well, first, when I was nominated, it was an honor. I have to say, I just thought, oh my God, somehow I took this as this amazing honor, because I love the organization. But then, as the year progressed, I saw the power of the network. And for me, working in fashion and beauty, I'm always trying to look at other perspectives, because I really focus on macro trends, and sometimes 10 years, 20 years from now. And so what I love about the RSA is I might come here, and there's an anthropologist sitting next to me, and someone from Julie's Bicycle, and just meeting people, and also the framework, the Living Change framework, Designed for Life. I feel I can really utilize those in my own work when I'm trying to create frameworks or models for ways to approach future foresight in a regenerative way. So I find it really helpful to be able to connect to an organization that has a framework that I can embed then in my own framework, have access to it really directly as a fellow, and really learn regenerative futures, which is not something that in future trends for fashion a lot of people are talking about or in bed, and I'm trying to think ahead, and I see this as the future. And another thing I love is, again, the access to the space, just the energy when you walk in. It's just a positive energy. I've been a member of another space in London, which was lovely, but it just wasn't the same warmth. There's something about this space that it's buzzing, but it's in the right vibration of just, it's nice. If you're hungry, the food is amazing. The events are amazing as well. The talks, the guests, and I just feel all around that as a fellow we're quite well taken care of, and so I feel last year I didn't maybe use the connections as much as I could have. I had a lot of different things going on, but this year I've been attending more events. There's also the yearly Fellows Festival, which I absolutely love. Last year I was like blown away by it. So I think it's been definitely an amazing addition, and I love that from time to time I can have guests, I can have meetings, I can have access to renting the steps or the brainstorm room. Like, it's just such a generous space.
Yeah.
And everyone is super friendly, so it's really a win-win in terms of having access to a very supportive network, a brilliant network, a humble network, a kind network, and then also this space that we can tap into. So for me, I'm very, very happy about it. Yeah.
I think we should go and find this coffee and food that we've been talking about. What do you reckon?
Yeah, you will like it. I recommend the cookie as well. I'm obsessed with it.